Welcome to Jackie's Craft Table. Hi, thanks for joining me today. I have another fun Christmas card and I'm going to be inking up this darling stamp set from Clearly Besotted. It's called Little Donkey. I'm also going to be using some Distress Oxide inks and I've never tried these before, so I'm very excited to play with them today. Now, I bought this stamp set in honor of my sister's visit. She came out for a week and was taking care of me and my family while I was recovering from surgery, and we got a chance to sit down and play with this cute stamp set. She absolutely loves donkeys, and I suspect she would really love to have a donkey for a pet if she possibly could. So I'm going to show you the card layout that we came up with. And it involves the wonderful Distress Oxide inks, which I'm just loving at the moment. And I'm also going to pull out my polychromos colored pencils. I'm starting out with the placement of my little stamps. And the donkey and the star I'm going to stamp out first. And I'm going to be making up some masks for both of them. I'm using some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. And I'm stamping that onto a piece of Bristol smooth white cardstock. These masks are going to protect the images on my card panel so that I can blend on some Distress Oxide inks over them. I'm stamping these images up twice just to get a nice dark impression. I'm also using a little piece of the Inkadinkado masking paper. Before I start my ink blending, I am going to stamp this little fence that came in the set. And it's going to appear as though it's behind the donkey because I have him masked off already. And I do have to make another mask for this little fence as well. Now that my images are all masked, I'm going to get on with the ink blending. And the first one I'm using is Salty Ocean, and that's going to be my lightest color. These inks are so creamy and just very easy to blend. The Bristol smooth cardstock does help with the blending as well though, because it does have a coating on it that makes it easy to blend on. I'm trying to be really careful around this little star image because for some reason the little points on the star get caught on the foam of my little blending tool, and so I have to kind of be careful when I'm blending around that. The next color I'm going to use is the Faded Jeans. And this is just a little bit darker. I'm using a little piece of sticky note paper just to protect my card panel from fingerprints. The darkest color I'm using is Black Soot, and I'm just going around the edges of the panel with this. And then I do go back in with my mid-tone ink, the Faded Jeans, and then again with the Salty Ocean. I just want a nice smooth transition between these three colors. It looks like a hot mess now, but I promise it does look better when I'm done. Now that I'm done with my ink blending, I can peel off these masks and reveal the images underneath, how bright and crisp they are. There, I think that just looks so awesome. And now I can get on with my coloring. And I just have a small tin box of the polychromos pencils. And in a way that's nice because I don't have to go through all my pencils to decide which colors I'm going to use. I'm kind of limited. My kids simply adore their aunt, and they love when she comes to visit. And I might as well be invisible because she's the only person they see when she comes out to visit. But in a way, that's not a bad thing all the time. I did get a lot of time to sit back and relax and watch some movies. So we all love it when she comes out to visit. I'm going to emboss the sentiment onto this card panel, and I'm going to be using some Versamark ink and some white embossing powder. The white embossing powder really makes this sentiment pop because the background is kind of dark. I'm putting down my anti-static powder first, and then I can go ahead and apply the Versamark ink onto the sentiment. And for some reason, I don't know if it's necessary, but I do like to stamp it up twice just so it's good and sticky and the embossing powder will stick to it. I'm just using my favorite white Hero Arts embossing powder on this again. I think I need to branch out and try new embossing powders, but for some reason, I just love this Hero Arts powder. And then I'm just melting that with my heat tool. Always making sure to turn it on for at least a minute and let it run before you bring it to your card panel so it doesn't warp it as bad. I use a piece of typing paper just to catch the extra anti-static powder, and then I can just funnel that back into the little bottle. And then I'm just rubbing off the excess anti-static powder. I want to trim this down to a size slightly smaller than an A2 so that the white of the card panel will show around the edges. I'm using my dot liner to add tape or adhesive around the edges. And then I could just go ahead and adhere that onto my card base. It's going to be a nice and flat card, easy to put through the mail. And I just love the font on this sentiment that says Peace on Earth. And then I'm going to add a little bit of clear stickles to the star just to make that pop and add more interest to the card. I'm addicted to these stickles lately. They're just so pretty and fun to use. I know they've been out on the market for a while, but I'm just discovering that I love them. And then, as a very last touch, I remember that I need to ground my little image. So I'm pulling out a black polychromos pencil, and I'm just going around the donkey and the fence and adding a little bit of shading and ground underneath them. And this really adds a lot. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. It's coming up really soon. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also click on the bell if you'd like to be notified when I publish a new video. And don't forget to share this video on your favorite social media. I hope you all get some fun craft supplies in your stockings this year. And I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!